relationships, drama, philosophy, relationships, drama, philosophy.
Welcome to the Yalla Habibi podcast. If you're craving more adventure in life, whether to live it vicariously through us or get ideas to spark your own, this is the podcast for you. I'm Shelby.
And I'm Scott.
We're a couple exploring life, sharing the ups and downs of figuring it all out. Whether it's our travel stories, relationship goals, tough moments, or philosophical conversations, it is never a dull episode. Join us on this spinning rock we call Earth as we figure it all out together. To all our new listeners, welcome, and to everyone else, welcome back. Before we jump in, smash the like button with a hammer, karate chop subscribe, drop 5 stars on the podcast like a rebel, and share the episode by setting off silent fireworks in your backyard. It really goes a long way. Head over to our TikTok to catch the best bits from today's episode, and if you're joining us for the first time, you can go back and see all of our favourite moments. If you're a new listener, then you won't know this, but I am your resident lexicographer and etymologist, also known on this podcast as the Countdown Legend, Susie Dent.
Susie Dent. Sorry, you wanted me to do that with
I
you.
did.
Apology, I completely missed my cue, but Susie Dent, whoop whoop.
Yes, we do love Susie.
We were going to carry on to say her name until she responds.
Well, I think we're going to trend for Susie Dent, I'm sure.
Definitely.
Well, today's episode, quite an exciting one. We are going to talk about a bit of a contentious topic.
Ah.
AI. And ChatGPT.
It's so good, you need to see it.
If you're not sure what we're referring to, there's a video that you can easily access on YouTube of former British Prime Minister Boris Johnson, who's like, do you know about AI? I use ChatGPT all the time.
It's comedy gold. Go watch it.
He is a humanist comedy gold, to be fair.
He is. He's hard not to like because he's just so funny.
Yeah.
He is a funny man. Yeah. And his dad's similar.
Yeah, well, I like his dad a lot more.
Yeah.
What I think we want to discuss initially today is, are we becoming too dependent on AI? I'm going to try not to say it like that the whole way through.
Yeah, I'm going to laugh.
But I would describe myself as AI reluctant. I think some people lean straight into like, yeah, this is amazing on my days, like it can do everything. Whereas I have always been a little bit reluctant to use AI for stuff. However, like I use it a lot for my job, and I think that now I am too dependent on it. Stuff that I would have once Googled, I'm asking ChatGPT because it gives a more tailored answer. Blogs used to be the way, didn't they? If you're looking for something really niche and specific, you'd find a blog and it may answer it perfectly, it may answer it fairly well. Whereas AI now, you can be really specific and niche with your request. So I think we are becoming potentially too dependent on it. People are using it for big stakes decisions, such as, should I buy a house in Leeds for this cost, or should I break up with my partner? I'm reading Scott's notes. You think people are using AI for that?
Yeah, I mean, I have no share, but I have spoken to someone who has used it for
It
that.
wasn't you, was it?
No. See this. I always dig the whole deeper.
You're like, a friend of mine.
That's right. I never know when I'm in the hole, and I always dig it deeper. But no, seriously, I know someone. Anyway, I don't articulate who they are, but I know someone who has used it for that exact question.
And did they break up with a partner?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, they did. And they also used it for consoling themselves and counselling themselves with the reasons why they did it.
Well, see, this is a bit worried for me because AI, I think, is biased towards its user. Like I don't know, if we both approached our version of ChatGPT with the same issue, opposite perspectives, it will agree with both of us.
I think to an extent, it depends if you're saying a fact.
Yeah, but even so, even if you state facts like, my boyfriend and I got in an argument over who should drive
if
to
it's stuff like that, if it's stuff like, yeah, I don't know how do you categorize that. But for things like that, yeah, it's going to...
Because you're always going to prompt it with justification for your way of thinking, aren't you?
Yes.
Like if we were trying to decide who was going to drive to London, and I said to ChatGPT, well, I drove last time we did a long drive, and then, but you said to yours, but I do the majority of I drive every day, even if it's short journeys, for example. Then yours might say, well, you've accumulated way more miles, so Shelby should drive. Whereas mine might say, yeah, driving a long distance isn't fair when you drove the last long distance. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree. There will be situations like that. And yeah, that gets into quite a sticky problem, doesn't it? And I do see the likeliness of AI playing a big part in counselling. I mean, I know it already is in some parts. Again, I also know people who are using it for those reasons as well, and they've actually spoke very positively about it. I've even used it to counsel like a family issue I had, and I actually found it to be excellent.
Okay.
So are we becoming too dependent on it? I think definitely. I know I am, because what I was saying in my notes was I feel like we've started off with big stake decisions, like should I buy a house in Leeds? That's like a big question you may have asked ChatGPT straight away. Should I buy this car? Big stakes decision. Now, I think that staying in that threshold seems okay. But then if we go low into like medium stakes decisions, like I want to lose £5, how can you help me with this? Or please can you help me create a workout routine? Again, very helpful, but it's not really high stakes stuff. It's something you could figure out. Again, the car you could put this sort of more medium stakes. But then my worry is where it's getting to now, which I know I'm doing, is really, really low stake decisions, like day-to-day stuff. Like, oh, I went to Boots and there's a blue, pink and green toothbrush. Which one do I buy?
Yeah.
Like that low stakes. Or when should I meet my friend? 2 p.m. or 4 p.m.? I'm not sure. Like just really stuff you should just be figuring out yourself. That's my worry. And I know I'm getting to that territory. I know that I'm leaning on it for pretty much anything I know it could do. And I think that's where it gets dangerous, and it's going to continue to get dangerous, and it's going to affect our cognitive ability.
Interesting. And just like, because we're about to do some pros and cons, so I kind of want to kick it off, countering what you've just said as a pro. Because I think you're right that having to ask for really small decisions seems like it's then gone too far. But for neurodivergent people who struggle with executive function, which is the ability to make these quote unquote easy decisions, or struggle to find the willpower to do day-to-day tasks, perhaps asking an AI model for that guidance and that push could actually be quite useful.
I can't deny that. I think that's what I won't deny. I don't deny its usefulness. It's exceptionally useful, and it helps a lot in each level, I would say. I think the lower you get actually can add a lot of additional time compared to if you did it yourself. I know I've experienced that, and you catch me on that as well. If you just like writing an email, sometimes you spend an extra 10 minutes with it trying to fix it when you could have just probably fixed it yourself.
Totally. Social media posts the same. It's just like...
Yeah, sometimes it just isn't quite getting what you're trying to do. Then if you just put your attention to it for a few minutes, you would actually fix it. So I think that's one downgrade. But is it useful for all three? Yeah, I agree it is. I can't disagree. It's great. So let's get into pros and cons. So let's start 4, okay? So it reduces decision fatigue, and that's a big one for me. That's a big one, reducing decision fatigue, especially with sort of the lifestyle we choose to live. We're always go, go, go. We're not a very sedentary couple. We are continuous. I mean, we've traveled for the last up to 3 years now. We're non-stop. We're always doing a lot of social occasions. We work full time. We do this podcast. We do other just mini, but we're passionate people. We get passionate about anything. Like if we even see a new thing, we're like, oh, let's try that. Let's learn that. So for me, I find that is a big value, is helping with decision fatigue.
Yeah, that I would agree with that. Although I suppose that also kind of somewhat leans into the being dependent on it.
Well, it does. This is the problem.
Yeah.
Of course, it also speeds up research and comparison, which again I love when I'm trying to choose what to buy on Amazon. I love reviewing it. I just reviewed it for laptops a minute ago at Walmart.
Yeah.
So I love to use it for that. Or if you're number crunching at work, like I've been number crunching for different exercises, like my investments, I've been number crunching. It just so instantly does it.
Yeah.
And it's so quick. So there's a lot of value there. Obviously, it helps you think more clearly, like the family issue I put to it. It allowed me to look at it more objectively and more clearly and break it down in a less confusing way, because there's a lot of emotion tied around that. So it allowed me to see it much more clearly and much more logically. And for myself, I am very much ingrained in logic. And I would say the other sort of couple pros here is it lowers stress around big decisions by offering perspective. And it acts, well, this is where you'd probably fight this, is it acts as a neutral sounding board when emotions are high.
Yeah, I think if you get the prompt right, it does. But I still think no matter what, it's going to reassure you that you're right. No, actually, I don't know if I can say this or not. I'm going to say it. I may have sneaked in a younger relative into an older film, let's just say that. And I'll say no further information, but yeah. I asked ChatGPT for tips and tricks on managing to sneak them in, and it wouldn't give me that. So it won't help you break the law, which I suppose is a good thing.
There are ways around it, the way you can prompt it. There are.
Well, I tried all sorts. I was like, the cinema allows it, it's fine, you can tell me. And like, if they allow it, then you don't need to sneak them in. I was like, touche. And then I was like,
That's brilliant.
well, it's not actually said person, it's a bottle of wine that I'm trying to sneak in. They're like, if you're not allowed alcohol in the cinema, you're not allowed alcohol in the cinema. Like, I was like, you are allowed it. The sign's up saying you're allowed it. And they're like, well, if the sign's up, then you can just, you're fine. I'll not even go. I went down some pretty dark roads of trying to convince it to tell me, which I'll tell you separately. But
Interesting.
So yeah, I don't generally, unless you're asking it something illegal, I think it's always going to tell you. And even that is like, I understand why you want to sneak this person into this film.
It's very, my experience is the start and the end is always going to be very much as if, which I think is right, is if you're, sitting in front of a counsellor. They're going to present it in a very kind way, even if you come to a ridiculous thing or a thing where you're totally in the wrong, whatever. The start will always be, I understand, I feel it, but mumble. And then at the end, it's going to go, you're going to grow from this, I believe in you, but it's going to start positive and end positive.
Yeah.
But I have found for the most part, in the middle, the action on what you've asked it is honest, but it can obviously share it in a more weakened version, if that's the right word, a sensitive version. But I find it doesn't sort of, my experience is it doesn't mess me about. Like it does sort of call me out if I'm wrong. I've not found it.
Well, maybe it's because I'm always right.
Well, you are a woman.
Well, there we go. But so yeah, we've gone through some pros. Maybe we switch to some cons. Which I think we've kind of also done a couple of.
Well, we have, yeah. But sort of some key ones is obviously encourages the outsourcing of our judgment. So judgment is no more human. It becomes driven by something that isn't human, which is the more you do that, the more incapable you are to judge situations and scenarios, especially when it gets to, there are many scenarios and situations where you can't go back to your laptop and speak to it for an hour. There are situations where you have to make a decision pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it could be sometimes even life's at risk. I'll give you an example of one. As to say, but it's honest. When I was walking in the jungles of Laos, I didn't know if there was any big predators out there. I forgot ahead and checked, which I usually do. I was like, oh no. And the reason I said, oh no, because I got halfway up this trail and I was like in the middle of the jungle and there was no noise. Well, the insects and everything, of course, but I suddenly hear like something large moving through the bushes. And I instantly zoned in on it. And it's slowly moving and I can tell it's really close to me. And I know for sure it's not a bird. It's too big. You can tell by the sound, the way it's pressing down on the branches. I could say there is a large animal very, very close to me and I can't see anything. And I was instantly quite scared because I was like, oh, I didn't check. And in that moment, I was like, I didn't check whether there's any predators here. And I was like, oh no, and I could hear it, and it felt like it was circling me. I was like, oh my God, there is. In that moment, I was like, there's a predator. I don't know what it is, but it knows I'm here, and it could attack. So I need to get back. So I started slowly walking back down the trail. And then instead of like keep on walking, I stopped only like maybe less than 20 meters away from where I was a moment ago, and spent the next 5 minutes trying to connect to my data.
Silly boy.
Yes, to speak to ChatGPT to establish, is there any big predators in Laos? So for 5 minutes, I'm on my phone, only about 20 meters from where this noise was, just quickly, like hurriedly, because I'm like, I really want to hike. I really want to. And luckily, you'll laugh, it was a cow.
Oh, quite predatory.
Quite predatory, but they're big.
Could have been a bull.
Could have been a bull. Well, they did have horns actually, but they're pretty calm. And it was right when I eventually walked up the trail. The reason I found out actually is one, ChatGPT confirmed eventually that there's no big predators that have been seen for a long time, so it's unlikely. And two, a family came up behind me, and I managed to speak to I had to translate it, and they eventually managed to translate back. Yeah, there's no big predators, you're fine. And then they pointed out the cow and they laughed. Because they knew why, they just laughed at the end. Because I had to go a bit further and you would have seen the cow's head.
Yeah.
They didn't like why this cow is in the jungle, I don't know. But yeah, so there we go. In that moment, I did just stick with my instincts and my judgment. I could have died. If that was a big cat, I'm fucked.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that story could be like a satirical sketch about a stupid. No, but it's like. It's just about this.
Wow. Well, go on. We won't cut this.
I was just going to say, like, how dependent we are on ChatGPT. I'll say, you're not as stupid. That was stupid.
It was stupid. And I admit it, and I look back at it and go, you fool. But I've learned. But overall, yeah, it weakens critical thinking if overused.
Yeah, reduces the satisfaction figuring things out ourselves. Like all the time. One of my favorite, well, it's not favorite, but like one of my catchphrases, if you will, is like my mom will say something to me like, I wonder what year that was, or like, so you don't have to wonder. And I Googled it. Or now I ChatGPT it for further deeper research. And there's no longer that. You know when I'm driving and it says, yeah, and they do quizzes when they say guess the year.
Yes.
I am buzzing when I get it right.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck yeah, this literally missed in the air.
Which you regularly do.
That is a skill of mine, yeah.
Yeah.
But if I'd have just looked at ChatGPT, my reaction would have been, huh.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that is because when you take away those endorphins, that satisfaction through making decisions, then it doesn't build the strength of decision making. And it makes you more incapable of decisions. It makes you more incapable of just moving through life. So I think it's very dangerous. And obviously the one I face is it can create analysis paralysis when you have 100 different...
Paralysis.
I love that saying, when you have 100 different options from ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And it just overall risks eroding confidence in your own instincts over time. So I think when you weigh them up, I think you certainly realise the cons are much more severe than the pros.
Yeah, and we've not even gone into the fact that it takes so much water for every single request.
Well, that's the big thing at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I've covered the pros and the cons. There are many more on each side. But I know, Scott, that you've got quite a particularly interesting story around the use of AI, and I think the listener would love to hear it. Yeah,
so this also creates discussion about another part of AI. And yeah, this is a strange one. So the last company I worked in, we used a website builder. I actually introduced it to the company. There's a website builder called Lovable. It's very good. And it's basically, you can build a website through AI prompts. So just like ChatGPT, you chat to it and it'll create the website. It's really good. I went ahead and did that, built the whole website, happy days, it all worked. there was one piece where I had to connect an outside platform for me to host data and be able to make the forms work. So I had to get one of the engineers from the company just to help me out because there's a bit of coding involved, and the AI just was getting a bit confused, and I was also a bit confused. So I got them, and I'm gonna have to redact names. I'm not saying names in this, and company name. But anyway, they went ahead, they did it. It took them a bit of time, but they eventually did it. And I went, thank you, thumbs up. And I went back to the website builder because I had to do further updates. And I looked at the chat log because, of course, it has the entire chat log there. It doesn't delete it because I have to look at the chat log also because sometimes I need to restore things and there's things you can do within it. Anyway, I look at this chat log and I could not believe my eyes on what I saw. Honestly, this isn't far from verbatim. This is not far off verbatim. I wish I had it from. This is not far off verbatim. I'm going to bleep out the words. I'm just going to say the words that you think. I want to go out now. You are being an effing idiot. Fix this exactly how I told you. This is how you do it. X. Next message. I'm out now. I'm in an effing cinema, you stupid effing AI. Why can't you effing do this, you stupid C word? You should be able to do this, you simpleton.
Oh my days.
All you have to do is this, get it done. There was about 8 of these messages. And they just got worse and worse. And what the part that I found funniest was not the aggression, but the fact that he was telling the AI why he's angry is not just is how, you know, it's affecting his life. One, he's angry at it not getting it right, but 2, you're taking me away from leaving the house. You're taking me away from my film. I just thought that was a hilarious context.
Trying to guilt trip it.
I know, right? What an insane thing to even... He would have had to write that. Like, he would have thought, he would have written, and he would have, like... The fact that he, like, just blows my mind. So, this is what I found. And obviously now I'm left, because this isn't accessible to many people, of course. It's not just for me, because I have other people that need to log in and make additions to the website, add content. So, anyone's going to be able to see this. And I own this site. I run the responsibility of it. And I don't want that to reflect on me because I'm in a managerial role, especially any role. You don't want it to be seen as you, but especially being in a managerial role, it's like, I can't have my team thinking I speak like this. And I know I don't. So I was in a really strange predicament where I've never been in before. And I remember I came to you for advice because I was like, what do I do here? Because also, in addition to this story, is that I was leaving the company.
It could look like you just some
Exactly. I was leaving totally amicably. I was resigning totally amicably. I just wanted to move on. And I was in the process of training my predecessor. And I was like, what if she sees it? Like, how embarrassing. This isn't the right way to speak to anyone, let alone AI. So I spoke to you, and basically we decided that I'm going to have to bring this up to my line manager at the time. But that was just such a bizarre situation. I'm reporting a behavioral complaint about someone, not about someone on another employee, but on an AI bot.
Yeah, it's like, is it an HR issue? Like, it's a funny one, isn't it? Because, yeah, had he said that to a colleague, that would probably be a fireable offence.
Oh, yeah. That would be, yeah, it could be instant dismissal, yeah.
But it's just, I don't know, if you're going to talk like that to AI, I think it says a lot about a person. If he was willing to be so vile and like almost make it personal against, like saying that it's a simpleton, stupid and all this. Like, I don't know, it's just mean, isn't it?
I honestly, my jaw was on the floor when I was reading that. Like, and he's an engineer, so he will know that it's all accessible. I was shocked. I was so blown. And yeah, it took me a couple of days to like approach my line manager because I was just like, what? I felt silly going to him. But I eventually did. And the crazy thing is his reply was, Scott, this isn't the first time this has happened.
With that particular colleague? Or...
No, in the company.
Oh, right.
He said, this isn't actually the first time this has happened. He said, this has actually happened in our other team, and people have found it through, and it was ChatGPT, this one, and obviously multiple people used the account. And again, the same thing had happened. The manager had gone in, they had sent foul language to the AI, and they just said, that's just not on. And so he said, this is a real thing. It's okay that your point. It's happened elsewhere.
Do you think that we are fast heading towards AI having rights?
Oh, 100%.
Oh, it's such an interesting one, isn't it?
Well, this leads on to the question is, one, this situation has not occurred before. And two, we don't currently have any policies to address it. So that is interesting. There's no company right now that's going to have any policy to deal with AI in that way. Their policies are going to be quite limited for anything they've introduced recently because we're still understanding it. So it really begs the question, do we need to start having policies? And if so, well, what on? You probably will have to go as far as, AI usage and disclosure policies. For example, your customer's going to want to know, when am I speaking to a human or an AI? If you're able to, for example, you frequently ask questions, if you're able to just get an AI bot to figure all that out, even to the point where they take a phone call with a human, I'm not going to like that as a customer if I don't know it's AI. It's going to freak me out. I want to know if I'm speaking to AI or a human. And especially if they're paying millions. You don't want to speak to an AI, do you?
No,
I'm sorry, I've paid you a lot, a premium amount of money. You're getting a human in front of me right now.
Yeah.
So there's just policies, I think, that are going to start to be discussed, which I think like AI usage and disclosure, transparency policies requiring disclosure when AI was used, also data privacy policies, what information can be entered into AI tools. I know for a fact that every company out there using AI now is probably doing that wrong. Because think of the amount of sensitive data they're probably uploading to all these different platforms right now.
1,000%. It's going to be, people are going to receive documents and they're not going to want to read it.
No.
They're going to upload the document and they're like, summarize this in 3 bullet points.
Exactly.
Or they're going to be like, 1,000%. There's going to be I've just seen today, Meta glasses.
Yeah.
Apparently, I need to I need to do some deeper research on it because it could be fake news. Well, apparently it's like the head, I don't know, basically they've got a whole team of people that review the footage that's been captured by Meta glasses. And apparently they've seen people having sex, go to the toilet, like all kinds of things. It can read full credit card information. I mean, people with Meta glasses, you've literally got a camera on your face at all times. They're about to introduce facial recognition. Like, there's so much sensitive data that those glasses, anything your eyes see, it can see.
Exactly. Are you saying that? What do you mean they can review all footage?
Like, you can record, you can film and you can take pictures with the glasses.
Meta can review all footage of all customers
That are wearing Meta glasses, yeah.
Right. What? So yeah, data privacy policies around what information can be entered. That's a big one. Intellectual property policies for AI created content. That one's already a big problem. So there's a bunch. There's a bunch of policies that I think we're going to have to start considering.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've done a very interesting summary and analysis of AI there. Quite varied. But I think maybe, that whole thing could be a WTF, but I think that we move on to your segment.
Now it's time for Scott's WTF of the week. Every week the world gets a little weirder. Let's talk about the strangest thing that went down this week. This is a fun one. Ozzy, not Ozzy Osbourne, rest in peace, the legend. Ozzy, the French bulldog.
Oh.
And a bull mastiff cross. French Bulldog and Bull Mastiff. I like a Bull Mastiff. Cross. He has officially been certified by Guinness World Records as having the...
What?
I want you to guess.
Cutest face.
No. That was a
Waggiest tail.
rubbish guess. As having the longest tongue on any living dog. Isn't that a WTF?
That is a WTF for so many reasons. Like, who's measuring the dog's tongue?
Well, the Guinness World Records. So Ozzy's tongue measures 7.8 inches, surpassing the previous record. There was a previous record. Over 5 inches. So he's absolutely smashed it.
I don't believe that that's that long of a tongue.
7.8 inches? Are you
Yeah, I
joking?
think that's like... Where are they measuring from?
Oh, not from... Yeah, if you able to go down his throat, then yeah, his tongue's going to be ginormous. It's going to be from the visible.
Oh my god! Slash just got a picture up. Okay, hanging outside his mouth. Got it.
Yeah.
It looks like a balls.
Yeah, it does look like a ball, so check it out. Yeah. Yeah, obviously, if they could measure from where your tongue's down, I mean, a human tongue is very long.
You let it go like down here.
It goes totally down your throat all the way, yeah. So, but no, probably from the visible, where it's visible, maybe the back of his throat or something. But if you look at it online, it's really funny to see. So he smashed the record. So well done, Ozzy. He lives in Oklahoma, USA. And he's obviously become a social media sensation. And yeah, it's weird, it's impressive. And yeah, and apparently he's a really great dog.
I bet he is. He's very beautiful. Bless him. But I mean, that must be quite difficult to drink and things.
Yeah, I reckon so.
Poor little darling. Well, that was a very Shelby-coded WTF. I appreciate that one, Scott. Because I love, not because I've got a massive dog, but because I love dogs.
Yeah.
I do. I love dogs very much. Well, I guess now that it's time for Shelby's Good Vibes Only, let's take a break from the chaos. Here's something to make you smile this week. Shelby's Good Vibes Only. An elderly man's Franken-Truck gets a new life. So Mo Riles from South Bend, Indiana, was driving around in a 2000 Chevy Silverado, but it was dented, it was duct taped, it was an eyesore, and everyone would laugh at him, and it even led to memes being online because of his vehicle's state of disrepair. But the truck ran fine, and Mo used to get it to work. He worked at the Dollar Tree, but I guess because people were making fun of him, and because like it looked like his vehicle just wasn't that great, a local business owner called Colin Crowell started a crowdfunding campaign to help Mo get a proper vehicle. The community sort of rallied together. They managed to raise quite a bit of money. They raised over $26,000 that allowed him to then trade in his battered truck for a 2019 Chevy Silverado. So just a one that was 19 years younger. And Mo, bless him, he said that the experience humbled him because he said, it's not about me. It's about this community bonding together, coming together to... I love those stories, those like community. And there's somebody, like they're not necessarily... I mean, I love hearing stories where someone's in like a total bad situation and they've been helped. But the fact that he just had a bit of a shitty car and then the local community rallied to get him a new one. And it looks like a cartoon, doesn't it?
It's trashed. I don't know who even drove this car from looking at it online. So it's amazing. I think it's heartwarming to see, and I think we need more of this. But it just shows you these things do exist. It's just the news never share them. So these positive things, it doesn't necessarily mean, whilst there are definitely things to show the world is going to a worse place, I think there is still a lot of positive and have always been in the world. It's just people don't shout about it enough.
And I think that's a really important lesson, because if you switch on the news channel and you only see doom and gloom, then you think that the entire world is doom and gloom. You think that just is the only news.
Yeah.
So listen to our podcast more and you'll hear more positive stories.
Yes, you will.
Exciting time, Scott, because we're just about to go into a segment that we haven't been able to do for a while.
Yeah, we haven't, and we've got a name for it. So this was First Impressions, where we give you our first impression of the country we've travelled to. We now have an awesome name for it. Jet Lag Judgements.
Jet lag judgment. We call it outside.
It's great.
It is.
We also have 2 introductions, so we don't know which one's best. We disagree on this, so we'll say that
Yeah.
you say what yours and I'll say mine.
Okay. Fresh off the plane, here's our honest first impressions.
Fresh off the plane and wide-eyed, here's our honest first impressions.
And we'd like your honest first impression on which of those is better.
Tell us which one's better and we'll go with it next time.
And today we're doing our first impression of
Mexico!
Aren't we cute?
We are adorable.
It's not actually our first time in Mexico. I thought it was our first international trip, and then I realised we went to Florida before that.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Didn't we?
Yeah.
My 30th. But yeah, our first like long-term travelling together was like our first summer together that we spent a month in Mexico. But that was a long time ago, about 4 years ago now, that we lost in Mexico. And now we are here. And I would say that my first impression is just how friendly it is here. Like, we had to buy a bus ticket. The guy we bought the bus ticket off, lovely. You had to speak to the taxi guys when we couldn't figure it out. You said they were lovely. When we were walking about with a bus ticket in hand, random people would just be like, oh, like pointing, I know they can't see me. They point in the direction and say, go to door 8 and turn in. And like loads of people along the way would see that that's what we're looking for. We didn't ask for help. They just offered help. So that was my first impression this time in Mexico. What is it here?
Yeah, that's a great one. I think people are really nice. Goodness, there's so I mean, the food is great, but that's not really fair. Maybe that's the second impression, isn't it? But oh God, the food and the margaritas are so good. So my first impression, yeah, it's always hard because you want to say so many things. And there'll be more we'll cover in our Worth the Trip segment and vegan voyages in further episodes of Mexico. But I think just how easy it was transport-wise to get into the center. So this is our second time, but the first time we're doing it whilst having a podcast. So this time we went to Cancun, last time we went to Playa del Carmen, and both times were just so quick and so easy. And the coaches are really nice. They're really well air-conned. Coaches, the aircon on coaches never work. Doesn't matter what country you go to, aircon just doesn't work on coaches. It's always failure. But the aircon worked great space. They even played a film for us, and it was a 30-minute journey. Yeah, it was just the transport was excellent from the airport. So, and it was really quick and easy, and it was easy to get and cheap. Yeah, really cheap, significantly cheaper than a taxi.
Yeah.
So don't be put off by a coach because you have other people and you might be worried with your luggage. Honestly, it's quick, it's cheap, and it's easy.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, if you liked this episode, I think that you should check out episode 66, Surviving the World's Strongest Typhoons, thanks to AI, very topical, Harry Styles' Yellow Habibi podcast, or episode 46, Scott's Birthday, The Greatest Airport, and AI radio host exposed, Yellow Habibi podcast.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. That well worth a listen to because that AI radio host caused a big stir in Australia. There was a big outrage about it. So it was interesting.
It was, I do remember that one. But before we say goodbye, please can you do us a favour and smash the like button with a hammer, karate chop subscribe, drop 5 stars on the podcast like a rebel, and share the episode by setting off silence as to not scare the animals. Fireworks in your backyard. It really goes a long way. Another adventure wrapped up.
But the journey never ends.
Keep your bags packed for the next one. And remember, when in doubt, just say,
Yalla Habibi. See you next time.